Hello guys, welcome back to the second episode of How to Grow Garden, like grow garden game. And this episode is gonna be packed. So we're gonna start moving immediately. So inside the starter player, inside the starter character script, we will add a local script in this to clients. And then we have to write a lot of stuff today to make things work. First of all, we are going to go to our things here. I'm just gonna get all the seed beds and I'm gonna apply the tag called seedable in all those. Now that we got those, we can go ahead and add a remote folder in our hit search. So folder, remote events, and we will add a remote event and we will call this, let me see. It's gonna be plans request. And I think that's gonna be it. Okay, so then we need a tool. So let's just add a tool into our starter pack and disable the request handle. This is very, very important. And then just we have this script here, but we have to modify it a bit. So we can remove this. And yeah, so we have the plan request, which we just made right now. And so we want to do a bit of stuff. So we want to just first of all get rid of the comments I put here just to tell you what it does. So we want to leave this. We want to move this. We want to remove this to set nil here. Or we can just do some tests here. We can just do, for instance, it's gonna be an dead seed. So now that we got this, we then okay, so this is working good now. So make sure you have it exactly like this, and then you should be good. So now, when we go on the server and write the code for it, let me just see where I got it. So first of all, we want to get the plant event. Let's go onto our server, pull up, put it like there, get the reference storage, and then we want to make this work. So it's not going to be that much on the server, it's more going to be on the client. So then plant events, on the server events, connect function, and we get the player, we get the target part, we get the local offset, we get the seed type, and lastly, we get the tool. So everything we pass here. So we get the part. So muscle target is the part that we hit, or the part that we currently hover over when clicking it. The offset, which we calculate right here. The seed type, which would be the attribute, but we just set it to that seed for testing, and the tool. The player is passed automatically. So now we want to do if not target part, then return end, then local plot is equal to plot, so and then get plot, and then here. Now if not plot or not plot.parent, then return end. So we just check if the spawn is there, plot is there. We can copy this exact snippet here and just paste it here. Then local world position is equal to spawn location dot cframe colon point 2 weld, then vector3.new, we get local offset dot x, the local offset dot y, and the local offset dot z. And yeah, then we converted it to a default position. Then we need a new module script. So let me just tell you where we will insert this. So it's going to be in the system folder. Also, let me just rename this to systems. I have it set, and then just change the systems everywhere. And now okay. So inside these systems, I'm gonna add a new folder and call this the plant system. And in there, I'm gonna add a module script and call this the plants manager. Like this. And then in this plant manager, it's gonna be the biggest script we have. So the finished version has like 500 lines. But for this episode, we only need like some functions of it. Actually, only 2. Yeah, 2. 2 only. Okay, so we want to rename this to plant manager. And then make a function, plant manager, on model player, the C type, position, the planted folder, player, the planted at, and the height, and the tree ID. Like this. And then we need another function called plant seed. And in this function, we need all these parameters like this. So then we also need a new script, and this is going to be in the replicate storage. And we just add a module script there and call this to plant definitions. Then we copy the name here. And then in the plant definitions, we want to, actually we want to delete this. We want to get the local base weight 5. Local definitions is going to be equal to table. I'm just going to make an example. So this is for the dead sea. I'm going to explain you what so we have the name, of course, of the tree and of the seed. We have the growth time, price, which it's which you can buy it for, Roblox price, which you can buy it for, the stock, the image of the icon, then the tool, which we currently don't have, so we can get rid of this. Also the price per kilogram, we can also get rid of this. It's to be in stock, we also don't need it right now. Don't need the stock right now. We don't need Robux price, not the price. And yeah, this is, and the image we also don't need. Okay, so we only need the name and the growth time for right now. The rest we are going to add across the episode. Okay, so now that we got this, we then want to scroll down to the end, and we want to refs dot order its keys equal to a table. We just put all these in a table, just like this. Then the defs of base weight is going to be equal to base weight, and lastly you roll on the defs, just like this. Then in the plant manager, we can just go back in there. Then we want to get the local definition to be equal to plant definition. Get it? And then we index this type. If not def end, then we get the local tree ID equal to HTTP service, generate UID, alt, get the local now, the workspace now, we get the local modifier, which would be another function. So this function we can just set it to now. We will add this since we don't have the time for this, and I don't think we will finish the whole thing today either, since then it's going to be like a 50-minute video, and I don't want you to bomb you with a banger 50 video. It's going to take like 2 hours for you, since you gotta stop, continue, stop, continue. It's really, 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 really not that interesting to do this for a while. Okay, so now we will just do the height scale too, and we also add this. So then just scroll down again, we get the plot, which is going to be equal to plot find first child. If not plot, then local folder is going to be equal to plot transit or instance.new folder. Then the folder.name is transit, and the local tree itself on the tree model, and then with the player type position folder, the modification, the now, the height scale, and the if not then also and then what we want to do is we want to I think that's gonna be it, probably. I think the rest is just for the data. Do the data later. Now for the spawn tree model, this is gonna be a kind of big function. So first off, we get the scale or and then to roll, and then what we do is we want to get the templates storage, and then add a new folder, add a folder called trees dot trees, and then find first child the seed type. This is where you make your trees. I will show you what my tree looks like. I'm gonna get the dead seed for right now. I'm gonna paste it into this folder. I'm going to drag it into your workspace first. So this is how my dead tree looks like. And you just name them by how, like which order they should go at. So the first part is going to be the part that's going to be visible first. The second part then comes after. You're going to have multiple parts that have the same thing. So you could have like 5 parts that have the number 8. So you don't have to number every part different. But yeah, I think it's going to be clear if we get to the animation. So let's move this back into the folder. And now we can go. You can just, for testing, use just a stat, just a literal part. Doesn't matter. So then if there is no, then we want to also return. Then we want to get the model. And yeah, then we need 2 more functions. So first off, a raycast function. Paste this in, since otherwise it's gonna be kind of making the video extremely long. So yeah, we don't have to do it like this. So yeah, you can just copy the function and this function too. Make sure you have these 2 functions exactly like I have. Okay, so now we want to do, or basically this just raycasts to the ground and places the model on the ground. Also, you have to, for trees, the primary part has to be the first part. And make sure, or just, it would be better if the part isn't oriented. So it can be oriented around, but not just like turned around, you know? Just it has to be flat on the ground. Since otherwise the tree is just gonna be wanky. So yeah. And this just makes every part bigger depending on the size. And yeah, now we can continue on finally. So now we want to apply some attributes before we do this first. And then we want to apply some attributes. Then we get a random y-axis offset to randomly rotate the tree. Then what we want to do is we want to be anchored and can collide true for each part. This is just to match a number. And yeah. Then this is going to be modifier. So if then, and this will be also to add modifiers. Data be like the golden and rainbow stuff. We don't need this for now. So now we get the local base time, calculate the growing time, the plant type dot growth time, and then what we want to do is we want growth time, base time, plot name to plot, and the 3D wheel test up here. Okay, now we can parent the model to our plant get up here, which is the folder we create. And then we can do some sound effects. So I'm gonna add a folder called SFX, and I'm gonna add the plants into there. I don't think you will be able to hear it. I don't hear it either. But yeah, this sound is gonna play then. if you have it in here. You can just have any sound, and this sound's just gonna play if you plant a tree. Or actually, we can do this later on since we don't have mode events here. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. Okay, so then next up we just return the model server side. Now we should be able to plant event on finally. So yeah, let's go on and continue. So let's open the code again. Okay. Then after this, we want to do plant manager. Get the plant manager, and it's this. Now we plant manager, plant seed, and then we pass all the info we pass. Okay, so this would then be, I have just scrolled or L player the plot stop PC type and tool and the like this. Now what we do, we plant seed, we can print born planted. Try this out. Works. I don't think yeah, you okay, it does. You can see that the and yeah, it's currently all the same. You also cannot do this on a plot, but we spawn in hard. So when I click on so this area right here is going to be this area on another. If I click here, spawns in. We don't want this to happen. So what we need to check is if the plot is players. So we want to be server, get the target part, and we want to check if the target part is a is descent off or is a descent is the off. I've totally written. Wait, no. Let me just check. An A. Is descent off, and we to get the plot. So get plot for the player. Like this. So if the target part isn't a descendant of the plots, then we want to return answer. Now you can see, like here, it works, but when here, it does not. Great. So now, let me see how long the recording is going. It's 24 minutes. Okay, so now we want to link up the rolling for height thing. So in the plant manager again, you want to get a function calls for the height. So in the very top, got two things. Local in scale, max scale, 1 and 1.8. Then the local function roll for height. it's just gonna local t is equal to, and then we do one min scale plus, and then the scale minus the scale times. This just gives us a height inside those bounds. Yeah. But it biases towards smaller. Because we could have also just done the scale here. But with this setup, it biases a bit to the smaller trees. Since we don't want the players to have bigger trees easily. Now, we just copy this and paste the heights. And then we brackets, and now you that all our trees will be differently. And yeah, this works well. They are also orientated and also have different seats later on. Yeah, so the next episode is gonna be between the trees. So we want to actually make an animation for them to build up slowly. And yeah, so that's gonna be it for today's episode. I can't speak. So if you're interested in buying those files, make sure to check out my Discord server link below. You can buy all these files I show you here. And yeah, I hope you learned something from today, and I hope you have a nice day, and see ya.